So first then, on the situation as you are experiencing it, a couple of weeks ago, we were reporting on this program on the debate. This weekend, we've been reporting on President Biden's performance at the NATO Summit, particularly at the conclusion of it. Have things changed as far as you're concerned with those that you are speaking to, the fundraisers, the people who want to give money, the donors? How is morale?
Oh goodness, where should we start? I have to be honest with you guys, it's not great. And I've because I'm not only a donor, I'm also a bundler, which means that I encourage my friends to donate as well. And I just did a fundraiser with President Biden on May 1st at the Mayflower Hotel in DC. It went tremendously well. It was $1.1 million in 6 days. We were able to do that. I don't think we can do that at this point. People are waiting to see, for the dust to settle to see if Biden is actually going to be the candidate. But for a lot of these donors, these high level donors who can write 6 or 7 checks, no problem. This is a business decision. They're looking at the landscape and it's not looking very favorable, unfortunately. I wish I could give a different answer, but it is just reality.
Yeah. In terms of the reality, just for those of us who are unfamiliar with this world, for example, the people that you deal with, how much money would they be willing to give to a candidate that they are backing and that they think will win?
One of my close friends, actually, he runs a commodities firm, and I've been in touch with him in recent days. He gave 2 million in 2020, and
Wow.
he's not willing to do so again. And I've been trying to talk him off the ledge and just tell him this is a binary choice. This is between Trump and Biden. It's not between Biden and God, you know? And it's just hard because these people are still not fully convinced that it's going to be Biden. How do I make that? I can't make that case because they're inundated with news every single day.
Mm. And this almost then, Lindy, feels like a kind of classic economic situation where even the doubt itself is enough to have a huge impact on how much money's being raised.
Absolutely. It's a confidence game. Absolutely. I think ultimately in the fall, when people realize that we're up against Trump, the money will come in. But I don't know. You probably saw that the Times reported that $90 million towards a super PAC has been frozen.
Yeah.
And I also, as one of his top fundraisers, I have a bird's eye view into his calendar. And so there aren't as many events as before. And it's a very unfortunate situation. You bring up a really good point. The lack of confidence triggers a lower amount of donations, and the lower amount of donations in turn incites less confidence. It's a vicious cycle that just keeps on going.
Yeah. And is there any indication from those who you're speaking to that they like the Democratic cause, they would just prefer a different candidate? Is that the mood?
I think that's 100% of the people that I'm speaking it with. And I'm speaking about big money donors, okay? Because apparently the campaign said they had a gangbusters fundraising haul from small donors last night at the NATO after the NATO presser. So I'm only speaking to the highest level donors, which is essentially frozen at this point. And it makes me extremely sad, extremely sad. I love the president. He's been good to me throughout the years. He's such a great man. But without money, without firepower, there's not much what you can do. This is running for president isn't just a political operation, okay? It's a multi-billion-dollar business enterprise that needs to be stood up in 2 years, essentially, and then needs to go bankrupt on election day, which is essentially what it is. So it's just a very hard time. And I was with the president as one of his top donors on the night of the debate,
Mhm.
and it had a funeral feel.
Wow.
Um, we were just very distraught.
How did you feel when you saw the NATO mishaps, I suppose? So, calling President Zelensky of Ukraine President Putin and referring to Vice President Trump instead of Vice President Harris.
I was actually more focused on the substance. I think he actually had a decent night. You know, he demonstrated his mastery of foreign policy. I was listening more to the substance. I know people were hunting for gaffes, But I was
They
impressed
didn't
by
have to
his
hunt very. They didn't have to hunt very hard, though, Lindy. That's the
exactly. It was
point.
kind of in your face. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get over that when the media is on the, on the look for it. And it's hard to overcome that soundbite because expansion of NATO, bringing Finland into the family of NATO is not going to go viral, but the gaffe will go viral. And we're living in a social media age. And it just, I completely get it. You bring up a good point.
Yeah. The type of people that you deal with, Lindy, when it comes to fundraising and those who are writing checks in the past for, $2 million, is there any indication from them that the type of people they want to back a winner? Is there any indication from them that they would stray from the Democratic Party if it's
Absolutely not.
Biden? Right,
Absolutely
okay,
not. Not
okay.
even a question. They value rule of law. These are not political activists at all. These are business people, and they want a stable business environment in which to put it bluntly, make more money. If there's a lot of volatility in the environment, businesses are going to suffer as well. And so these people are not ideological. They're very pragmatic. And Trump is just, it's not a good, Trump is, they're not even going to consider it. And there's been reporting recently that the Fortune 500 CEOs and a lot of billionaires, although Elon Musk actually just said he would donate to Trump, putting him aside and putting
Yeah.
aside some exceptions, there's a critical mass of CEOs and billionaires who are not donating to Trump because they do not want to see a 10% tariff and then a surge in inflation again. And these really, just frankly, to put it bluntly again, stupid policy decisions that Trump would engender.
Mm. It's interesting. I was going to ask you about Elon Musk. He is clearly a very notable, very famous billionaire. And yes, he has donated to a political group working to elect Donald Trump. According to Bloomberg, the amount's not known, but it's referred to as a sizable amount. To what extent does this become battle of the billionaires and millionaires? Of course, we heard George Clooney's concerns in the last few days.
It's always been the battle of billionaires, not just election. And I'm sorry to be cynical about it, but I'm right in the eye of the storm and I see it. I brought billionaires to the fundraiser I hosted on May 1st.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, it is what it is. You need the firepower. They have the resources. And I'm actually, although, I've had privilege, I am extremely against the multi-trillion-dollar tax giveaway that Trump implemented for billionaires. I think that wealthy people should pay their fair share. And I think it's actually, I make a good case saying that, we all have a responsibility to care for this country and to invest in our future. And Trump is against that. He wants to prolong the multi-trillion-dollar tax break for corporations and billionaires. That has blown up our deficit, has blown up our national debt. It's just egregious. We would be going down a terrible path if he were to return to power.
And just finally, Lindy, I want to get, again, just an insight into a world that we don't know. When you're trying to raise money right now, today, perhaps this weekend, if you're picking up the phone and speaking to people who have this sort of money to throw towards political campaigns, what are people saying to you? How do you feel asking for money for Biden right now?
The honest answer is I'm not even asking right now because it would just be futile. No one's going to say yes. People are right now, what we need is a therapy session. We don't need a solicitation. I think people are just very upset. I had a Biden official call me to kind of commiserate about this, and she just said maybe a good idea to just listen and just be there for folks. And when the time is right, maybe they'll write checks. But right now, I don't think anyone is in the mood to make a huge investment because at the end of the day, this is an investment. There needs to be a ROI, return on investment, and the business proposition right now is not there.